I've had requests for more Subaru Baja projects. So I've got one in mind here, and it's a little bit radical. I hope you like it. We'll see how this goes. Here's what I've got. Look at that. This is an outside sun visor. Bought this at a swap meet. It's actually for an 86, I think it's for an S10 Blazer. Anyway, it's in kind of rough shape, but my body shop guy can fix that up and it will look perfect, and we'll get this painted the yellow to match there. But what I've got to do is I've got to make some modifications to this mounting point here, and I think I'm going to make some type of an adapter to get from this shape to the shape of the center of the roof there. So let's have a quick look at it. It's going to be something like that. You up for it? I guess I am. Let's do the title intro. You're watching On the Mark with Mark. If we take a close look at this, the S10 Blazer actually had a pretty similar profile right along here. I held it down here against the wing, or the hood, and it's just about parallel. Can you see that? And it's the same way up here at the roof line. Pretty parallel, so it's pretty good shape to start with. I'm going to build some kind of a fixture up here to hold this exactly where I want it. I don't know where it's going to be for sure, but anyway, we're going to hold it right where I want it, and then we'll see what needs to happen on the sides and for that center bracket. Something like that. I've added this board to the sun visor just by screwing through. These are just drain holes here. So those are not mounting holes. I didn't want to interfere with the mounting holes because I need to be able to mark where those are. So this is how I'm going to hold it in place. We'll see if this actually works. Now some fine adjustments. Here's the first look, and it looks like I'm really gonna have my work cut out for me here. Now, I think it can flex some. And I think what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to cut around this piece here on both sides. And on this side, gonna have to cut around the antenna too. But I think it's probably smart to leave a piece up the middle here so I can still get a screw here, and there'll be a screw down here, and then I'll reuse that screw hole. And then we've got those holes there. This side's a little bit easier. This will have to be recontoured here. This gap will close up right here when I get this cut around here. Once I get that cut around there, then this will be able to drop in a little bit lower. In the middle, got a bit of a gap there. Let's look underneath here. Looks like that's probably the ticket. Looks like that. Well, I hope I'm not scratching my paint there. Looks like that'll mount pretty good. Also checking what it looks like from the inside here. And you can just barely see it. So can't really claim that it's gonna do much. Well, maybe. Maybe that does stick out there a little further than what I'm thinking for actual sun visor. Still trying to decide if I even like it. So I've got the rough cut made on both sides to step around that part of the luggage rack and the antenna. Now we'll go take a test fit and see how close we got, and then I'm sure there'll be a little more trimming. The Baja's roof seems to have a little more curve in it than what this Suburban had. I can push this down, but I don't know if you see it, the other side's coming up. It's got enough flex in it that I could, when it comes time to screw it down, it could flex that much and that wouldn't hurt anything. Boy, this ain't looking good though. Ugh. That'll have to be trimmed a little different. This should be more parallel with that surface right there, but I had to get it to this rough cut in order to be able to see stuff like that. Something else you might not be able to see, there's a little rise right here. So this is actually the flatter spot where this can attach. And then there's also this bump right here. So that's why this is so wide. Boy, I sure could have made that radius a lot bigger. That would have looked good if I could have matched that. That would have been better. Well, maybe since I've got to go that way, I should be able to make a nicer radius there. But, ugh. Look at that. I don't know if I like that or not. I may have to let that sink in a little bit. This side I didn't get nearly as close. I got these rib nuts that I'm gonna put in the metal body, into the sheet metal, and then these crimp on, and then it gives me a machine screw so that I can screw this visor on. And here's my drill bit for it. I chose this drill bit because it's very shallow once it punches through here. Plus these make a very round hole. So I need to hit it with a center punch, and then I'm gonna drill holes in my roof. Man, that is really thick right there. Oh my gosh, let me get my rib nut. That made a big nasty hole. Not what I wanted. Boy, it's thick though. Look how thick that metal is right there. After putting a little paint on there, it probably wasn't necessary because I'm gonna then put this silicone in there, all in an effort to try to make it so hopefully this doesn't leak when I get done. So I would have rather had clear silicone, but this will end up underneath of the sun visor, and I'm gonna wipe the excess off as soon as I get the rib nut in. Now I just need to wipe that off a little bit. Because that metal is so thick and the way that stepped drill bit works, that riv nut is just about flush there. So that's kind of beautiful. And no damage on the inside. Okay, one down. Let's do that one. There we go. Plenty of room on the inside too, no damage. I'm gonna skip the paint. I think the silicone is gonna do more than enough. That is more typical of how a riv nut goes. It kind of looks like a washer sitting on the surface there. But that'll be fine for this application. It's exactly what we're looking for. I've got 2 here and 2 on that far side and 2 in the middle. So now I'm going to screw the sun visor on here and then we can get a real good tight look at what needs to be done fiberglass wise. Well, here it is, screwed on for the first time, and it is solid. I'm really impressed with how rigid this thing is. It might go through the car wash. But at any rate, this will be on and off a bunch of times as I come up with some forms for how I'm going to redo these corners and get this to lay down right. And I think what I'm going to do right now, this might change. The way this is scooped out right here, I think I'm going to scoop this out the same distance and then bring it down and across. That's my idea to start with. Anyway, this is the look I was going for. So some people are gonna hate it. I think it's gonna look pretty neat. And I'll bet you I'll have the only Baja with a little sun visor on the outside. The plan is, I've got this piece of wood shaped pretty close to the profile of the roof of the Baja. And then this area right here, I want to force to conform to this. So I've got this negative part right here, which has got that profile in it. And I'm going to heat this up with the heat gun, which gets very, very hot. And I've already done an experiment with the piece that I cut out right there. And after heating it, it became flexible. And you can see the shape that this was. I was able to make it flat. So I know that this can be recontoured with heat. But I didn't want to heat it right on the Baja because I don't know what it would do to the paint. So we're going to heat this up. Then we're gonna hold, let's see, which way does this go? This goes this way. Gonna hold that up to there, and then we're gonna clamp it down with my bone crusher right there. And then we'll let it cool, and we'll go out and do a test fit. Good and tight. I gave this about a half an hour to cool. So let's see what we have now. It certainly lays a lot flatter, but something else happened. This little wing here was under pressure and it must have got enough heat that it has a new shape. So I don't know if that's good or bad. We'll have to go try it on the car. Truck. Okay. Wow. Doesn't look like we made any progress. Sheesh. Well, shoot. Well, we're gonna have to try it again. There we go. Second time it's got it. If I line up that hole there, look at that. Just maybe a little bit of flex there, but otherwise, nice. All right, now I gotta do the other side. Passenger side, melted and clamped. So this is the first attempt on this side. We'll see how it fits in just a minute. Nice. It's contoured just right for the roof now. Got that side, this side on the first try. I've got another riv nut to install right here. And I didn't drill the two for here and here. So I'm gonna get those taken care of, and then the sun visor will be bolted on in its finished position. So then I'll be able to start working my fiberglass areas here. No, we're not finished. We're far from finished. This feels like a major milestone that I've got this recontoured to fit the roof of the Baja like that. And I've got all the riv nuts in, and I've got all the fasteners in, and man, I'm telling you, this thing is rigid. It really is on here good. Now I've got to work on the fiberglass part of this. Now that I've got the shape I want here on the top side, which kind of matches what's over here, and I've got the bottom side so that all the paint and the gel coat is ground off. It's down to the bare fibers. Now I'm ready to build a mold that I'm going to use to lay my fiberglass in from the back side. So I've already tested this plastic here. I put a little bit of the resin on here, and then when I flexed it, it just cracked right off. So I know that the fiberglass resin isn't going to stick to this plastic and this plastic. And I didn't test it, but I know that the stuff doesn't stick to milk jugs. But this is a pretty close fit for this slot right here. So I'm thinking I'm going to be able to cut a section out of there, and then I can take advantage of these radiuses that are on there. That might look pretty nice. And maybe I fill those ribs in, or maybe I leave them in. I don't know. We'll wait and see on that. But anyway, right now what I'm trying to do is, I've got this. This actually was a Miracle Whip container, and it seems to have the shape of this cutout right here. So I already cut the bottom off, and I'm gonna make a bunch of cuts, and I'll scribe some lines with a marker, and until I can get it so that there's a nice fit against the Baja, and I can get it on here. So then I'll scribe against here, and I'll cut there, and then I'll tape it all on so that when I pull it off, then I'll be able to work it from the back side. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because it's clear, but this is the shape I came up with. And the corner of that container had a nice little elbow in it. So this kind of follows the shape pretty closely. But you can see it's very flexible, so I can match it right up to my new sun visor. And then it comes down flush on the body. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'll just tape this right on the edge, and that will work as the mold. Here's how the second one looks. And you can kind of get an idea how I'm taking sections out of this. This was an apple juice container. And I have it like this. And I got a good tight fit against the body. And now I just need to tape it on and get a nice good seal like I did over here on this other one. Okay, there's my form. I've got one more left to do. Oh, another thing I did here, if you look over here at this middle section, where this scoops down, I matched that same angle right here. I mean, roughly eyeballing, so that this will look like it was made at the same time in the factory as that was made. So that's what that's for. Also, this dips a little bit low into the gutter for the windshield. So any water that might collect here has got a way to run out. So that should be good. I got one more left to do. Boom, this side is done. And what I did is I cut what looked like a good fit for the body, and then I'd slide it down on there. Then I could see where it was too high, and then I'd shave a little bit off and test fit it again until I got that shape that I wanted right here. And then I just took my Sharpie and I traced around the edge for the cutoff, and then I cut it off and it stuck up a little bit, and so then I trimmed it a little bit more, and you can see I ended up with it up a little bit right there, but that doesn't hurt on this side. But what's important is that it stayed down on the car right there, because we want the fiberglass to come down and meet the Baja. So this side is ready. So that went a lot better and smoother than I thought it would. This is going to work out really nicely for doing the fiberglass work, which is what we're going to do next. Messy, messy, messy. Ew. Day 2. I've had some time to look this over, and it looks kind of bad, but this stuff is above my form. So before I can really get a good look at how it went, I'm going to trim back all of the stuff that was hanging beyond what my form had laid up for me. And then we can get a good look at where we are exactly. So it's a little wobbly here. It's okay up here. A little bit of a wobble right there too. Not sure what I can do about that. Really didn't get very close to my form here, but I think that's okay. This may just have to get taken care of with body filler. This one looks like actually turned out pretty good. All right, let's trim up that other side. A little closer look. A little bit wavy there. Looks like I've got good adhesion here around there. Few lumps. Body filler can fix some of that, but really, I think I got a pretty good bond going here. It's time for the second coat. Okay, the second coat is done, and I've trimmed it back like I did the first coat, back to where my form is. I thought it might be interesting to see just how easily this form comes loose from the fiberglass. So this may be good, maybe not. We'll see how it goes here. Okay, this one's peeling right off. Yeah. Coming loose there. Looks like it's not sticking to the fiberglass. Boy, that's pretty neat. Wow, looks like it needs a little filler and the radius put on it, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with that one. Okay, let's get the rest of this tape off. And kind of hard to tell where it is. There we go. There it comes. There, that didn't stick. So that worked out pretty good. That made a pretty nice radius in there. I'll get on that with the file. We'll smooth that out. Look at that. So, you know, it's gonna need some filler in here after I grind it down, but looks like it's working to me. Here it comes. This side's peeling right off. Nice. Looks like that. Man, this stuff it is strong. I got a little grinding and filing to do on that, and then there'll be some body filler to make it look pretty. And this thing is nearly done. I'm gonna do some filing on this, and then I'll do, another test fit on the Baja, and Then it'll be off to the body shop for this part, which is way easy for me because I don't have to do that part. After some filing on here, I found that the resin that came out over this painted area really wasn't sticking on there. So I cracked it off as best I could back to where it was adhering pretty good. You can kind of see there's some air underneath of it right here. I'm gonna leave this alone. This is on the bottom side, so it's really not gonna show. And if Dan thinks it's a good idea, he can throw some putty on this or grind on it a little more and smooth it out. The other side, I didn't go picking at it like that in the painted areas. Just kind of wanted to leave it alone. But I still need to go take a look and see how the fit is now with where we ended up with on this shape right here on both sides. Looks like a little needs to come off right here so that this can lay down. I don't know if it would. A little bit right there. I'll mark it with a Sharpie. This isn't too bad around here. Kind of comes up right there. What's holding that up? Let's look over here. We got a pretty good gap right there. Looks like that could be ground down a little more. Yeah, probably right in this area here. And that'll let that lay down a little tighter. It's okay for there to be a gap. In fact, I planned on there to be a gap right there. That's to let the water drain out. The other side, yeah, a little bit right there. After a little more grinding, got an even gap around there. This is up a little bit high, but I'm just not going to worry about it. I think it's ready for the paint shop. A little bit bigger gap on this side. But I'm going to call it good. I think it's going to, once the body filler gets on there, I think it's going to turn out looking just fine.
1 week later.
It's back from the body shop now, and I'm very happy with the paint. Now I need to paint the underside, and I'm going to do it in a black, a rubberized type undercoating. That's what I'm going to do next. I need to tape it off so that I can spray just the underside, so I'm going to get after that now. I've got it all taped off now, and now I'm going to spray the undercoating on this bottom side. This is going to be black. And I'm using this, it's actually a plastic, it's spray dip and grip. So that's what's going to be on the underside. And my hope there is that this stuff will be flexible enough that it'll seal really well against the roof so that water doesn't come down the holes where the hardware is. I'm going to keep applying this until the can is empty, but I'm going to let it dry a little bit in between each coat.
The following day.
Well, here it is, all nicely painted, looking beautiful. And my black paint on the bottom is nice and dry now. So we're going to mount it on here and we'll see how it looks. Look at that. Doesn't look too bad, does it? Good match on the color too. Let's take a close look. If you recall how that fit originally, here's a picture of it. I got that to contour nicely to the shape of the roof. My rubber spray, that dip and grip, I got a little uneven on there. I don't think I'm gonna let that bother me. There's of course room for air to slide up underneath. And if you look under here, you can just barely see that black. I don't know, but I have a feeling this is the only Subaru Baja that's got an outside sun visor on it. This side has a really nice fit to the roof as well. And it's not quite level. It points down just a little bit, which I thought seemed like the way it ought to be. Anyway, just a neat little bill on it there. I'm gonna take it outside. Let's get some pictures of it in the daylight. Well, this is about as sunny a day as we've had here for the last 3 days. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to take a little video of it outside, and with the sunlight you can see the match is not perfect. So probably the Baja has faded over time. Yellows and reds have a hard time with the UV. So I believe that visor is probably the original color of the Baja, but I'm not gonna let that bother me. I think it looks really nice. I'm really happy with the way it looks. If you know of anybody that had a sun visor on the outside of their Baja, send me a picture of that. Let's get some pictures going here on YouTube. And I believe that there wasn't any. I have looked all over the place to try to see one, because I would have bought one rather than have to custom make one like I did here. So if you know of somebody that has one, just get a picture of it and put it on here, because I'd sure like to see it. Plus, I've been getting a lot of requests on Facebook for people wanting me to make them a visor like this. Well, that was a lot of work, but I really think it's worth it. I like the idea that I may be the only one with one of these. So we'll see what happens in the comments. Comment on YouTube, not on Facebook, if you find my video on Facebook. So please subscribe if you want more Subaru Baja videos. I think I have 4 other videos. I did one on the towing receiver and one on the toolbox in the back, and then I have a kind of an interesting way of mounting bicycles in the bed of the Baja. So those videos are out there. This video will be on that same playlist, so maybe watch all of them if you've got some time. It's kind of neat just to see the way different people have outfitted their Bajas to make them the way they want them. But this one is really a pretty unique thing. Thanks for watching.